And we are auctioning those off. So please, when you go down for coffee, you might want to bid on them. We're doing some fun stuff, and they're beautiful. Also, on the 9th, which is the membership meeting, after service and before the meeting, we're having a Valentine bake sale. So what I would like to ask you to do is, if you can bring something, and we'd like to have at least 10 items, and I got to tell you, at the auction, the dessert dash, the homemade items went first, which really surprised me, but we like homemade. So but we'll take store-bought, because I don't cook. Everyone can bake, she says. I don't cook. The only thing domestic about me is I was born in this country. Okay, so we all do our best. But please sign up if you can bring something on the 9th. That'd be great. Now, this is so cool, you guys. I want to just give you a brief context for what your fundraising team did last year. Can I have the team come up, please? Mary, Yvonne, Dina, Cindy. Oh, you're going to stand there? Okay. Up. Yeah, doesn't matter. Wherever you're comfortable.
Come on up here so they can see.
Yeah. You're not comfortable at all. I just wanted to mention that the last time before 2024 that the books for the end of the year were in the black was 1997. Everybody know what that means? It means in 2007 we closed the books $41,000 in debt.
In negative.
Negative. We'll just call
in debt, but we were
negative.
We spent $41,000 more than we made.
2019, 30,700 negative. 2020, let's hear it for COVID, $32,000 negative. So we've been losing money pretty much every year. This year, last year we were 32,300 negative. So keep that. Put a pin in that one. This year, thanks to our amazing fundraising team, the board, and you guys, all of you, we finished the year plus $28,244 and a penny. Woo! Isn't that amazing? Now, what I want you to do is think about the 32,000 we were in the hole last year. So what this team and you guys did was about $60,000 to make up for that and to bring us ahead. How cool is this? We're going to do some fun stuff this year, like the little bake sale and the plant sale. Yeah, we're not doing the auction this year. We're going to do it in the spring next year. Because a lot of people said, we already gave for the year, so we're going to be one of the ones they give to in the spring. So what I would like to do is, and Lee was a huge contributor to our success, and we want to thank you for that. One of my favorite sayings is, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed, and organized citizens,
People,
thank you, can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. Margaret Mead. And so what I would like to do is present one of these little plaques to this team to say thank you, thank you, thank you, and to commemorate our first fundraising year. Yay! And I got a sparkly frame because we sparkled. Thank you so much. You did a great job last year. Let's do it again.
Don't take them.
Oh, don't take your notes.
Don't take all my things. Don't take all my things.
Oh, what's the fun of that?
Trade you. Let me keep this.
Oh, you say something.
That felt like a comedy skit to me. Who's on first? What's on second? Well, thank you very much for myself and our team, but it feels inappropriate for our team to take the glory here because it really wasn't about us. We had the idea as a team, and we were the legs and the impetus behind making it happen. But without all of you, none of it would have happened because you're the ones who showed up. You're the ones who played along. You're the ones who had pancake breakfast. You're the ones who helped at the plant sale and bought all kinds of things at the plant sale. You're the ones who came to the music concert. You're the ones who came and donated at the auction. Fundraising doesn't happen without the people supporting the organization. And what's happened in this community over the 25 years that we've been in this building is a holding of a consciousness that every single one of you has played a part in. We have never lost sight of what we were doing. We have never lost sight of why we were here. We have always been aware that there was a deficit. That's money. Anything that can be fixed with money is not really a problem. Have you heard that before? All the problems we have in our lives are the things that money cannot fix. So we had that money thing going on, but we stayed true to who we are and what we were doing, knowing and knowing and knowing and knowing again that the tide would change, things would shift. We survived our church burning down. We survived the recession. We survived COVID. We have, as a community, survived a lot of things that have caused a lot of other businesses and especially churches to go under. So I really want to applaud you and thank you and show my appreciation for you because I have felt in my position for 12 years, 13 years, that I was the hub of the wheel. All of you are making all of this happen, but someone is holding in the center to keep us here together. And you have shown up in all your many glorious ways and really given us just a hint of the impact that we can have on each other's lives, on people who come in this door that we don't even know. And I've seen a glimpse of the future of this community. And you shine brighter than that sun shining in your eyes right now. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Amen. Can I hear an amen? All right. And on that very happy note, we are going to sing another song, and then we're going to have a meditation. So please find your melodies from the Heart Songbook, song number 29, Stand As You Are Able, and we'll sing together again.
Whatever's in the book.
Thank you.
Aren't we an amazing?
Okay, sorry, we were just signaling from the sidelines here. Just ignore all that. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to sing, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear. The hour I first believed. Praise God, praise God, praise God, praise God. Praise God, 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 praise God.
Okay, let's settle in and get ready for meditation.
Okay, my favorite part of the day. So just let's start by settling into our space and relaxing and just setting aside any concerns you may have brought in the door, knowing they'll be there when you leave. But just take a few nice, slow, easy, deep breaths. Maybe breathing in through your nose and holding it a moment. And then exhale through your mouth. Let's do that another 2 times. Now, either if you feel comfortable with your eyes closed, just imagine that you're standing at the edge of a path that leads into a lush northwest forest. The day is warm and sunny, and yet as you begin to follow the path, you appreciate the coolness that surrounds the trees and ferns along the way. As you walk, you're aware that the trees form a canopy over your head. The forest is made up mostly of evergreen trees, Douglas firs, red cedars, and many of them appear to be quite old, with their wide trunks and heavy moss growing on their rough bark. Ferns grow at the base of the trees, almost covering the forest floor. Your feet are cushioned on the path by a blanket of thick, fallen needles, softening your footsteps as you walk at a comfortable pace. Walking through the forest, you occasionally hear a bird calling and squirrels chattering, but otherwise the quiet stillness is undisturbed. Alone with your thoughts, it's easy to focus on the beauty and tranquility of this sacred space. As the path turns to the left a bit, you notice a particularly large tree, about 8 feet from the path ahead. You feel drawn to examine it closer up and step carefully between the ferns to reach the giant tree. The bulk of this ancient tree has slightly lifted up the earth that supports it. You climb up the mounded earth and place your hands on the tree, feeling its rough and moss-covered bark. You start to walk around the perimeter of the tree, your hands staying in contact with the bark, lightly touching it as you move. And now you're finally at the backside of the tree and are surprised to see an opening in the tree trunk. The opening is about your height, and it is as if the tree is beckoning you to come inside. You carefully begin to move your face closer to get a better look, and realize that the opening is actually a doorway that will easily accommodate you. Stepping through the entrance, you are surprised to see a winding stairway leading down into the tree itself. There's something very peaceful and inviting about the stairway, and you decide to follow it. As soon as your feet are on the first step, you notice that a warm, golden light is emanating upwards from the bottom of the stairway, guiding your path. You walk down the stairs, counting the steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, deeper down, 5, 6, 7, deeper and deeper down into the tree, 8, 9, and finally at 10. At the bottom of the stairs, you find yourself in a small room filled with golden light. The temperature is perfect for you, and as you look around, you see with some surprise that it's furnished with some of your favorite things. Your favorite chair, your favorite pictures and photographs of loved ones. You sit down in your chair and notice that there hangs a large mirror directly across from your chair, about 3 or 4 feet away. A thin piece of fabric hangs over the mirror, making it difficult to see it clearly. You lean forward and pull the fabric away. There in the reflection of the mirror is a face that is much like your own, with the exception that it is reflecting such joy that it's aglow with light. There are words inscribed on the bottom of the mirror's frame, and leaning forward, you can make out the letters. They say, "Your true self." You stare at the image in the mirror, silently examining every inch of the face, wondering at its beauty and the pure, shining energy and light that permeates it completely. You look into its eyes, and it looks back at you lovingly. Slowly, you realize that there is no judgment, only understanding. Feelings of insignificance and doubt fall away. Any fears you have held fade away. You are only love and one with all beings. Spend some time now feeling this loving, peaceful connection. You can ask your true self any questions you may have, knowing that it is truly the spark of the divine that lives within you. I'll leave you here for several minutes. In a moment, I'm going to count from 10 to 1, bringing you back up the golden stairway and away from the forest, back to ordinary waking consciousness. And you will return easily and joyfully, experiencing yourself clear-headed with your energies alert and balanced to carry on and have a wonderful day. So now, just relax into this wonderful new experience as it brings you back to new, normal, waking consciousness. 10, 9, begin coming back up the golden stairway. 8, 7, 6, coming back easily, more and more. 5, 4, wakeful energy moving through your arms and legs, wiggling your fingers and toes. 3, breathing in wakeful energy. 2, at the top of the stairs. And 1, you're back on the path and leaving the forest.
It's so great to unplug and recharge. When all our cells are running low, it's so hard to keep on loving large. It's unplug. There's no charger required. Untethered, unfettered, and unwired. It's great to unplug. I've been lately thinking about my lifetime, all the things I've done and how it's been. And I can't help believing in my own mind. No, I'm gonna hate to see it end. I've seen a lot of sunshine, stepped out in the rain, spent a night or two all on my own. I've known my lady's pleasure, had myself some friends, spent a time or two my own. I have to say it now, it's been a good life all in all. It's really fine to have a chance to hang around. Lie there by the fire, watch the evening tide. All my friends and my lady sit and pass some wine around. Talk of poems and prayers and promises, things that we believe in. How sweet it is to love someone, how right it is to care. How long it's been since yesterday. What about tomorrow? What about our dreams and all the memories we've shared? So quickly now, nights are seldom long. Time around me whispers when it's cold. The changes somehow frighten me. smile turns me on to think of growing old. Though the life's been good to me, there's still so much to do. So many things my mind has never known. I'd like to raise a family, I'd like to sail away, dance across the mountains on the moon. I have to say it now, it's been a good life all in all. It's really fine to have a chance to hang around. Lie there by the fire, watch the evening tide. All my friends, my lady, sitting passing wine around. Talk of hopes and prayers, promises, things that we believe in. How sweet it is to love someone, how right it is to care. How long it's been since yesterday. What about tomorrow? What about our dreams and all the memories we've shared?
Thank you, Steve. That was just perfect. And as one of the very ancient sages of the church, it really helped me to kind of reflect back on so many experiences with this community and more to come. So, thanks. Okay, so the meditation we just shared is one really close to my heart. Experiencing the quiet descent in our inner world and encountering the exquisite truth of our own selves sets the stage for deepening spirituality. You know, I was just going to tell you that I was really happy to learn that we were going to be doing the 5 principles, but I wasn't real happy at first when I got Cindy's email to all of us who are speaking for the next 5 months, because I had a different topic in mind completely. And I was already working on it, which is so unlike me to be doing it 2 weeks ahead. But it can keep, because after my initial, oh no, I got to change and start over, didn't last for long. And then maybe it was spirit, I don't know, but I started reading over the 5 principles again, and I got filled with this real enthusiasm for doing this talk and starting over, which is always, you know, change is something that a lot of us just kind of grit our teeth a little bit sometimes, but the best gifts can come through it, so you just hang on and go for the ride, and thank you, Cindy. So, what I had written, but I had to give that little sideline here, is that I was happy to learn that during the first 5 months of this new year, each Sunday lesson will center on one of the 5 unity principles. And I am happy now. For longtime Unity members, it's an opportunity to refresh our understanding. And for newcomers, or relative newcomers even, it's an opportunity to learn more about what Unity is and give yourself an answer to the question, what's this Unity all about, from your friends and family when they have never heard of Unity. And yes, you can tell them it's also about the hugs and the music. January is Principle 1, and it's listed on the back of your bulletin, but for the people watching in their pajamas at home, it says, there is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in all life, God the good, omnipotent. So, here we go. One of the themes in my life experience is to discover and reflect upon who we are, really, and how we perceive and experience God or Spirit. And I use interchangeably the words God, Spirit, Source. You might have your favorite. We live in a worldview of duality. that there are opposing powers of darkness and light, but Unity students have a whole different understanding of reality. We don't believe in duality, the belief that there is any other real power other than spirit is a false belief of separation from God, and we can never be separate from our source. We can certainly feel separate. Some of us have felt that, I'm sure, but are truly not separate. We've learned that we are all carriers of divinity within ourselves. We have a spiritual DNA inside. The question in my mind is, if we are truly carriers of divinity, how can we actually feel that presence? Where's the proof? Where's the love? Sometimes we wonder. I myself like to learn from other spiritual practices, and have recently started reading sections of the autobiography of a yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. Raise your hand if you're familiar with this. All right, I knew there would be people here. I knew that. Yogananda was a contemporary of our own Charles Fillmore, who, as you know, with his wife Myrtle, was the founder of Unity. They knew each other, respected each other, and they found no conflict between their teachings. You know, spiritual truth is spiritual truth. And I understand that they had something of a friendship, you know, over time. Yogananda is known for introducing yoga from India to the Western world. His book was published in 1946 in the United States and continues to be a bestseller. I wanted to read you just a little quote from somebody's perception of Yogananda who met him. This is from Dr. Binay Sen, who's a former ambassador to India from the United States. Of India to the United States. Okay. The experience of meeting Paramahansa Yogananda is etched in my memory as one of the unforgettable events of my life. As I looked into his face, my eyes were almost dazzled by a radiance, a light of spirituality that literally shone from him. His infinite gentleness, his gracious kindliness enveloped me like warm sunshine. I could see that his understanding and insight extended to the most mundane of problems, even though he was a man of spirit. In him, I found a true ambassador of India, carrying and spreading the essence of India's ancient wisdom to the world. So, Yogananda was known, like I said, for introducing yoga to the Western world, and we Westerners usually think of yoga as a form of exercise and poses, postures to benefit the body. But there's another aspect of yoga, and it's called yoga is the science of self and God realization. And it's vital for human happiness and a nation's longevity. The exercise part is great, but in my mind, the only part of that is only part of the whole program or existence of yoga is the path to the real goal. And let me just read one more thing, and I won't be reading any more out of the book, but this is from another yogi, not Yogananda, but he said, all creation is governed by law. The principles that operate in the outer universe, discoverable by scientists, are called natural laws. But there are subtler laws that rule the hidden spiritual planes and the inner realm of consciousness. These principles are knowable through the science of yoga. It is not the physicist, but the self-realized master who comprehends the true nature of matter. By such knowledge, Christ was able to restore the servant's ear after it had been severed by one of the disciples. The tradition in India has been the same for centuries. It's such an old culture, and yoga has been infused with it for a very, very long time. And it centers on the relationship between a student or disciple, they're called sometimes, and their guru or master teacher. The goal of the relationship is to foster a direct personal relationship with God. This is the definition of mysticism. It's different than many of our Western spiritual groups discuss, because in some religions you have to go to God through a minister, through a priest, like you have an intermediary between you and spirit. But mysticism it's a direct connection between you and spirit. I've been reading some really remarkable stories of the education of spiritual seekers and the truths revealed by the gurus. There's a lot of stories that Yogananda describes with experiences of other teachers and some amazing things that happen. And you have to suspend our Western disbelief in a way to really embrace the truth of what we generally, maybe now more and more people are learning Eastern thought, but generally it doesn't match what we were taught. I've been reading remarkable stories, like I said, and our Western minds really have a lot of expanding to do before we can go down those same paths if we choose to. Some people are doing it. It's not an easy apprenticeship, requiring incredible discipline and sacrifice. Embracing a meditation practice is a requirement, and that's something that we do, and develops the discipline to focus. And I'm struck sometimes in looking at the similarities between our Unity 5 principles and the actualization of those principles in spiritual yoga practice. Meditation is certainly encouraged by Unity, and I'm wondering if that comes from the connection between Yogananda and Charles Fillmore. Buddhism teaches the concept of Maya, M-A-Y-A, which is the idea that our perceptions of the world and of ourselves are seen through illusion and deception that clouds our knowledge of our real selves and sensory experiences. It fools us into thinking that what we experience through our 5 senses is all there is to reality. It represents the limits of awareness in a physical body without knowing the spiritual body as well. Transcending Maya is necessary for a direct personal relationship with God. But we need to be ready for it. That's what's so fascinating to me about a lot of the stories of the masters and the disciples, is that they were saying that if, and apparently the masters, who are very ascended people, that they can provide that experience, they can open up that experience in their disciples' beings, but if they're not ready for it, it can be so overwhelming that it creates problems for them. It's just too much. And so you have to work with discipline and take steps, and that's part of what that relationship between master and disciple is. So that they also, they don't discount the importance of physical body, human body. So if you've read anything about any of the ashrams and the process there, that they spend a lot of time in meditation and prayer, but they also scrub a lot of floors. And so they believe in balancing. There's a necessary, we wouldn't be here if there wasn't a purpose. So there's a necessary for the lessons we learn in physical reality, physical bodies, but there's more to that. And when you're ready, that's something to work towards. When I was studying to be a hypnotherapist, I studied with a Buddhist teacher in Seattle. And when I was deciding to do that training, I looked at a lot of different programs, and the one that appealed to me for him, his name was Jack Elias, is because he was a Buddhist, because I wanted that spiritual overlay to the work. And I was really happy with my experience with him. And that was my introduction to the concept of Maya, and it stayed with me. Jack explained that we are all living in a trance state most of the time. And the goal of therapeutic hypnosis is to wake up from the trance, see through the Maya. And I've had some really lovely experiences, both in my training with him, which was very intense, 150 hours, and we spent 10 hours a day for, weeks, practicing all the techniques that he taught. And it was more than quitting smoking. There was just a lot more to it, which was so, I think it really did change my life. There were times I would come out of our training, and, I'd go home, and I remember this one time we had done some real transpersonal work, and was very moving, and I, went back lifetimes and saw lots of things I needed to learn. But I was just kind of glowing. It's like that feeling of just being a little bit out of your body, but just in such joy. And I got home, and I decided to go for a walk. And I lived in a nice neighborhood, and there were lots of, flowers around, landscaping and stuff. But I experienced it totally differently. Things were aglow, and I just felt so connected to everything and just opened. It wasn't for me sustainable, but I know it can happen, and it was just really just a wonderful experience. So, now my humble and possibly inaccurate understanding of the aim of the gurus is that it's to transcend the distractions of the human body and transform the energy or vibration of the human body to enable oneself to pierce the illusion of Maya. That's a gateway into an extraordinary immersion in the presence of spirit in another dimension. A beautiful and powerful way to experience God the Good, omnipotent. Bob used to talk about, our former minister from some of you never got a chance to meet him, but anyway, he's still alive, living on Whidbey Island, but he doesn't work. But he would talk about, he was always looking for new information, and he'd share it with us. And, we learned about that we're all made up of, atoms are all vibrating all the time, and at different rates. And so that's why, these atoms are vibrating, even though they look solid. And it's hard for me to really get that, but I believe that's probably true. And so when they're talking about transforming the vibration of the human body, some things I've read have said that we have to raise our vibration levels because on the nether plane, I don't know if you believe this, but I believe there are planes levels of out of body world, and so that you need to have raise our vibration levels, and actually that was one of them. Just remembering now, when I was talking to Elizabeth once, and I'll tell you about her later. I was asking if I was going to be able to be in contact with somebody who had passed to the other side. And she said yes, and they are working on that from their side. She goes, you'll need to raise your vibration level a little bit, and they've got to change theirs so that you can meet. Otherwise, they don't connect. They're just too, not opposing, but anyway, they have to match up a little bit better before we can sometimes communicate from the other side. Not always. So if you're interested in learning about the mystical approach to God, I can recommend reading the book. And there are lots of books out there, but this one just is a great one. And if you read it, don't overlook reading about cosmic consciousness. How many of you have read anything about that? Okay, all right. So now, closer to home. I've always been drawn to people who are sensitives, or sometimes called psychics. I'm not to everyone who hangs out a shingle on the roadside, but to those who have been recommended to me by trustworthy friends, I love to pursue that. Not all, but many of these people are also very spiritually oriented. Anyone here have the same interest in having readings? Okay, a couple of you, yeah. We used to have a wonderful spiritual I won't even say the word spiritual, but she definitely was. We had a bookstore downstairs. You see the bookcase there with lots of books. It used to be a lot bigger. We had a bookstore, and that's not unusual in Unity churches. And the bookstore manager was Wynne Thomas, was her name. And she was a wonderful artist and just a lovely person. And she also was a psychic and would do readings. And she did angel readings. You know, she was just amazing. So it was nice to have that contact right here in-house. And then she went on her way to the other side of life. And I don't think we found another actually working psychic that has revealed themselves lately here, but I'm open to it. Let's try, find them. Anyway, one of the most impactful of this type of person in my life is a woman that I knew for several years who lived in Seattle. And her name was Elizabeth McDonald Burroughs. Does anybody know of her? Okay, that's not unusual. And she passed to the other side of life in 2017. But I got to know her for a number of years. I was referred to her by a good friend of mine who thought she was just a wonderful spiritual presence and had achieved cosmic consciousness and could see past this time and space. So she was a wonderful psychic, a reader, and she was very, she had a lot to teach besides that, but she was very welcoming. And so I made some appointments, and for over the number of years, I went to talk with her about all kinds of things, but also I'd always get some good advice and reassurance about life. So Elizabeth McDonald Burroughs has written many books, and they're still available on Amazon. And during our talks, I learned of her absolute love and devotion to God. She radiated this light. And when I was knowing her, she was in her 70s. I don't remember, which sounded kind of older to me now, but then, but not now. Anyway, she didn't have a wrinkle on her face. She had a lot of vitality. And she identified as a Christian mystic. That's her title. And she founded schools around the country and internationally. She was on radio shows and interviewed and traveled teaching. She loved to teach. And she, teaching about cosmic consciousness, like I said, and how to interact with God. Unlike the gurus in India, she was led to a relationship with Spirit through a series of coincidences and synchronicities. She was, all things kind of come together when you live long enough and you see the pattern of your life. She was born to a 17-year-old unmarried woman in a traditional, pretty conservative religious group, and so she was sent to a home to have, her mother was sent to a home to have her, and then they gave her, to a great-grandparents that lived out in South Dakota in a really barren place, and she wasn't treated well during those times. But she started having elocution lessons because she did some little thing at a school play, and at that time there was such a thing as elocution training, and so she was supposedly very gifted in expressing herself, and so her grandmother actually agreed with somebody at the school that she could have elocution lessons, and that was kind of the beginning of her learning how to do public speaking, and she was only about 7 years old at that time, and she would speak in front of other groups and things. So she thought that was something that was so handy for her later in her adult life when she was becoming an international teacher. And so, but she loved to talk, and she had no lack of ego. She was, but in a great way. I mean, she was just really open about telling you about herself. She wrote poetry, like I said, she wrote books and things. She did tell me once that, my next lifetime, I'm coming back as a man. She said, it's really hard to get anybody's attention and do the work as a woman in this reality. So I had to kind of laugh, kind of watch for some baby being born that's a boy baby. That's really special. So anyhow, she She met many spiritual teachers, went to India, including lots of Indian gurus, and eventually created a Christian mystery school in Seattle. She had some other places in the world, and she told me she'd been in Africa for a number of years and had a radio show there and was talking, she was teaching that way. But she had a Christian mystery school in Seattle, and she had some disciples, I don't know how many, but she was given this, do I have time to tell you? No, never mind. I'll go off on a different track talking about her. But once she asked me, okay, so she was always listening to the voice of God. God talked with her. And she did have a lot of sacrifices along the path, choices that she made, such as she had to leave her marriage. She just, still loved him, but in a different way, and she couldn't live the life of a Christian mystic in a marriage. It wasn't going to work for her. So, there are some things that she made some hard choices for, but she listened to the voice of God and angels directing her life. Once she asked me, have you ever given a gift to God? And she described, I said, no. Anyway, she described how spirit experiences its creation through our eyes. So, never mind, I had questions too. But if you had heard her explain it, it would make some sense to you. She said so she gives spirit gifts. She said, like, if she sees a beautiful sunset or a beautiful vista of some sort, she'll imagine that, picture it in her mind, and then wrap it up in a box, a beautiful box with a big, big, beautiful bow, and give it to God. And she said, God really likes that. He got nothing to lose. Positive energy, like I said, literally flowed through her. So what about us mere mortals? Put meditation on your list of pathways to God, of course. If your schedule allows, you may want to join the mindfulness meditation group that we have here with Lonnie on Wednesdays at 12 noon. No experience needed. In addition, pay more attention. Notice expressions of love, either expressed to you or by you, and between others. Love between friends, couples, parents and children, families. This is a bit of God pushed into visible form or manifestation. Noticing and maybe saying, I see you, Spirit. I feel you. Express spirit in yourself by being kind and smiling, and all this. This is who we are. And it's just, but appreciating, doing it consciously. And being slow to judge, because Maya distorts our understanding of truth. If we believe it's all God, maybe we can open up to the good that seems elusive. You may remember this old Zen story that illustrates that point of non-judgment. A farmer had a horse, but one day the horse ran away, and so the farmer and his son had to plow their fields themselves. It's an old Zen story, yeah. Their neighbors said, a bad luck that your horse ran away, but the farmer replied, bad luck, good luck, who knows? The next week, the horse returned to the farm, bringing a herd of wild horses with him. What wonderful luck, cried the neighbors, but the farmer responded, good luck, bad luck, who knows? Then the farmer's son was thrown as he tried to ride one of the wild horses, and he broke his leg. Such bad luck, sympathized the neighbors. Once again, the farmer responded, bad luck, good luck, who knows? A short time later, the ruler of the country recruited all young men to join his army to go into battle. The son, with his broken leg, was left at home. What good luck that your son was not forced into battle, celebrated the neighbors. And the farmer remarked, good luck, bad luck, who knows? Our world seems to be in crises, one after another, in many different ways, But is it good luck or bad luck? Is it good or bad? How do we judge? I think we're too close. God knows the big picture. We don't. And so Bob Egan used to say, and I think I can quote him pretty well, but when the light of the world starts to grow, and think about all the ways we as a world have really improved. I mean, civil rights are something people actually care about. They didn't for a long time. Not as many people are in poverty as probably used to be. We have all these ways to mitigate illness and live healthier lives. All kinds of things, when you think about, have really improved. And it's easy to forget sometimes when you look at the chaos that sometimes is around us. But when the light is growing stronger, everything that's not in the light rises up to be healed. So when all that stuff that maybe we're not happy about rises up, and it's rising to the surface, it can't hide as much now, it's rising to the surface, it wants to be healed. And keeping that in mind, I have a little more patience and a little more faith that this is all for good. We just can't see it yet. Okay, I wanted to close with just one more thing. I have time. We're going later than I thought. I have a prayer I wanted to read for you, and it's from the Essenes. It's called God Speaks to Man. It's from the Essene Gospel of Peace. If you're not familiar with the Essenes, they were a Jewish sect that was the mystical sect of the Jewish faith. And so if you wanted to close your eyes, fine. Otherwise, I'll just read to you. I speak to you through the dew of the morning. Be still. Know I am God. I speak to you through the peace of the evening. And be still. Know I am God. I speak to you through the splendor of the sun. Be still. Know I am God. I speak to you through the brilliant stars. Be still. Know I am God. I speak to you through the storm and the clouds. Be still. Know I am God. I speak to you through the thunder and lightning. Be still. Know I am God. I speak to you through the mysterious rainbow. Be still. Know I am God. I will speak to you when you are alone. Be still. Know I am God. I will speak to you through the wisdom of the ancients. Be still. Know I am God. I will speak to you at the end of time. Be still. Know I am God. I will speak to you when you have seen my angels. Be still. Know I am God. I will speak to you throughout eternity. Be still. Know I am God. I speak to you. Be still. Know I am God. Well, thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Chris. You can tell she is a student of unity, can't you? Bringing in other faith traditions, bringing in some things that probably hurt your head a little bit to think about. I think about all the years I sat out there in the pews and would hear our minister talk about complex concepts or ideas or things that he was toying with, and I would be like, that cannot be true. That can't be true. Can you hear me? Is this microphone on? How did it go away? Guess we're done now. Time for coffee. But anyway, I would be puzzled by some of the things I heard from this platform and be fairly certain it couldn't possibly be true. And then I would sit with it and I would meditate and I would ponder and I would think, that might be true. That could be possible. And you did that to me again today. So now it gave me something else to think about. That's fun when that happens. Okay, well, let's sing together again. Melodies from the Heart Songbook, song number 44. Stand up and stretch your legs and let's sing together.
God is. God is my help in every need. God
God does my every hunger feed. God walks beside me, guides my way through every moment of the day. Wherever we are, God is. Wherever we go, God is. Let everybody know who God is, and all is well. When we give, God is. Whenever we love, God is. There's always gonna be enough. God is, and all is well. God is my health, I can't be sick. God is my strength, unfailing quick. God is my all, I know no fear. Since God in love and truth are here, wherever we are, God is. Wherever we go, God is. Let everybody know God is, and all is well. Whenever we give, God is. Whenever we love, God is. There's always gonna be enough. God is, and all is well. I now am wise, I now am true, patient, kind, and loving too. All things I am, can do, and be through Christ the truth that lives in me. Wherever we are, God is. Wherever we go, God is. Let everybody know who God is, and all is well. Whenever we give, God is. Whenever we love, God is. There's always gonna be enough. God is, and all is well. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Wherever we go, God is. Let everybody know God is, and all is well. Whenever we give, God is. Whenever we love, God is. There's always gonna be enough. God is, and all is well.
We should just remember that song every single day. Well, now it's time to bless our offering and thank our Creator for the many blessings that we have been given and affirm our gratitude. So let's start with affirming the truth about ourselves. And this is how it goes. My name is, and you use your name, and I am prosperous always and in all ways. So let's say this together. My name is, and I am prosperous, always and in all ways. Remember, always meaning forever and ever and always, as in all forms. So let's take our offering now. You can hold it up next to your heart literally or figuratively, and just think about the prosperity that we have shared this morning. The time together, the wonderful lesson, the beautiful music, the great news, all of the prosperity that this community is so grateful for. And let's bless it together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I share, and all that I receive. Thank you, Mother God. Amen.
that my soul's not blinded, that we're all expressions of the loving one, and that there is no other, just the one. There is no other, only the one. And now I'm digging down through layers. We've all got sparks inside. When my candle's just a flicker, let my wonders find me where the one resides, where there is no other. Though we are sisters and brothers, there is no other, just one. There is no other. We may be fighters or lovers, there is no other, only the one. Only the one. Only the one. When fear floods my eyes and my tears they only burn, I pray for memory from the other side, where the brilliant light of love returns, where there is no other. Though we are sisters and brothers, there is no other, only the one. There is no other. We may be fighters or lovers, there is no other, only the one. Because I am, oh I am, let me remember that I am. Because I am, oh I am, let me remember that I am, that I am, that I am. There is no other. There is no other. There is no other. Just the one. Only the one. There is no other. We are the one.
Microphone. So let's give thanks for the offering, reminding ourselves that we are charged with sharing our time, treasure, and talents to our spiritual source. And we're reminded in the words of the song we just heard that to give is God. Giving is God. And so we give thanks for all the gifts and the many gifts and many different aspects of life that this community brings forth. And in this moment especially for our support, because as you've heard, you have generated this amazing power of prosperity in this church. And for that we are all grateful. And may it continue, and we will continue to prosper with our consciousness, I'm sure. Thank you, God.
All right, well, thank you for joining us on this beautiful sunny Sunday morning. If you have time, please come downstairs and have coffee and refreshments with us. We're going to welcome the kids in. We're going to circle around the room, say our prayer of protection, and sing our peace song.
Did you just trick the adults?
Our prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.